Oftentimes it's the case that you would like to look at your data by groups. And so one of the best ways to do that, rather than do other manipulations in SPSS, is to use the explore function. So if I go up to the SPSS menu and I go to Analyze and Descriptive Statistics, I then choose Explore. So for example, if I wanted to compare males and females on some dependent variable like their scholastic aptitude test scores and get those averages, I would put gender in the factor list. Gender is a grouping variable, just like other variables in this data set. For example, Algebra 1 is that students either took Algebra 1 in high school or did not take Algebra 1. So that could also be in the factor list. But in this case, we're just going to use gender to illustrate. But you could use any categorical data that's a grouping variable in the factor list. And so then we're going to go down to Scholastic Aptitude Test and put that in the dependent list. The dependent list is always your measurement variable. So now let's look at the statistics we would like to obtain. So we click on Statistics, and notice that you don't have selections here like you did with the running the frequency analysis. And that's because they give you every statistic you could ever want to know about for this dependent variable, in this case, Scholastic Aptitude Test. And then if you want the plots, we can say, really, we want the histogram. That's probably going to give us the most information in terms of how our data looks visually. Then we simply go OK. Now notice what we get with the Explore data is that we get an output that breaks out male and female separately. So we get the mean SAT score for males and the mean SAT score for females. We get the median, the variance, the standard deviation. And then we get skewedness and kurtosis values. So we get both this information, but it's separated by gender groups. Now, one thing we talked about in class is that we can look at and visualize our data to see how skewed it is or how peaked it is. In other words, we can look to see how normal that data is. But we also have a skewness and a kurtosis value. Values that are above 2 or below 2, values that exceed plus or minus 2 are problematic. And so we need to look at that data further to see if perhaps the median would be a better representation of the measure of central tendency rather than the mean. Then if we scroll down, we can see the histogram by Scholastic Aptitude Test just for males, and then we see the histogram of Scholastic Aptitude Test just for females. And you can see that they're labeled here. We get the mean, the standard deviation, and then how many females were in this particular group. We also get what are called box plots. Box plots also provide us some idea of how variable our data is. For example, data points that are above what we call the whisker are considered outliers. And we can see, so for the female group, we have two outliers that are in this particular data set. So I hope this helps you in determining how you can break out your data by groups such as male and female.